officers and members of the public. Welcome to this meeting of full council. This is the first virtual meeting that the council has held. This meeting is being held in accordance with part 2 of the local authorities and police and crime panels coronavirus in brackets flexible and local authority and police and crime panel meetings close brackets England and Wales in brackets regulation 2020. To help with the conduct of this meeting, please could councillors and officers follow the guidance set out in the virtual meeting guide. This includes using the raise hand feature if you would like to speak. Item 1, apologies for absence. Are there any apologies for absence? No? Item 2, declarations of interest.
Clive, sorry, there are apologies for absence.
All right.
Councillor Churchill.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Apologies for Councillor Tony Hall. He's having IT issues, so he can't get through.
Thank you, Councillor Churchill. Item 2, declarations of interest.
Sorry, Phil Waite.
Declarations of interest.
No, Clive, sorry, Phil Waite has his hand up as well.
Oh, sorry. Who had his hand up?
Councillor Waite.
Oh, Councillor Waite.
Yeah. Councillor Strachan is attempting to join. He should be with us shortly. He is suffering IT issues as well.
Thank you. Any other apologies? Right, item 2, declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? No? Right. We now have a minute's silence for the victims of COVID-19. Thank you. Item 3, virtual committee procedure rules. To formally ratify the decision of the Chief Executive to adopt the virtual committee procedure rules attached as Appendix A to the report with immediate effect until the 7th of May 2021, and they are inserted in Part 4 of the Constitution. Can I have a proposer and a seconder? Councillor Ingalls. Sorry, you're muted.
I'd like to propose that, please.
And have you got a seconder?
Yes, I think Councillor Eugenie Harvey would like to second that.
Right, thank you. Is there anyone who would like to speak on the item? If not, I will go straight to the vote.
So Councillor Carter would like to speak.
Sorry?
Councillor Carter would like to speak, and then Councillor Wilkinson.
Right, Councillor Carter.
Thank you, Chair. It concerns the first paragraph of Appendix A. I'm wondering what the reason is to exclude working groups from these arrangements, bearing in mind how much work they do in the background in preparing for items going to committee. I hope it doesn't mean the administration aren't planning on having any working groups over the next 12 months.
Mr. Hill, do you want to say something?
Yes, Chair. The reason working groups haven't been included in the definition because they are, by virtue of their being, they're not public meetings. So if we were to apply these rules to working group, it would automatically make them as public meetings, and generally they aren't. Obviously, if we do have working groups, and I believe the intention is to have working groups this year, that we would have to have meetings following current social distancing rules and would be held over electronic means in all eventuality.
Does that answer your question, Councillor Carter?
Well, I'm still a bit confused as to why the rules and procedures wouldn't apply to working groups in terms of procedure and organisation of the meetings. Is it the intention to possibly amend standing orders later on in the year when we start having working groups?
With your permission, Chair, the rules on the table this evening are an addition to the section of the Constitution that has the rules in. They do not replace them. So the existing rules around working groups and meetings still exist. These are just supplementary.
Does anybody, do you want to reply, Simon?
I've had my two questions. We'll just have to see how it works.
Right, so we can now go to the vote.
Councillor Wilkinson wants to speak.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Wilkinson. Sorry, you're not on my screen.
Apologies, Chair. No, I do not want to speak. Thank you.
Oh, but you're seconding it.
No, Councillor Harvey seconded it.
Oh, Councillor Harvey, okay. So we can now go to the vote to be agreed. Do you want to take a roll on that one, Simon Hill?
Chair, if there's no person voting against, it can be done by general assent. Unless members indicate that they wish to vote against it, you can take it as read. They should indicate now.
So,
Councillor Souter, Councillor Mason would like to speak.
yeah, I've just seen it come up on my head. Councillor Mason. You need to unmute yourself, Francis.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to mention I'm a member of the Police and Crime and Fire Commissioner panel, and I attended a working group on Zoom the other day. So I just wanted to add that into the mix. The Essex County Council were happy to allow a working group on Zoom. So I just wanted, maybe that's something that can be taken away and looked at.
Simon Hill, do you want to comment on that?
Chair, only to say that there isn't any intention not to hold working groups using current social distancing measures, including Zoom.
Thank you. So are we all agreed? Yep, that's approved. Right. To agree the minutes of the meetings held on the 30th of January and the 27th of February 2020, is anybody not happy that these are a correct record? Agreed? Lovely. Right, item 5 is communication from the chair. It has been a great privilege to represent Harlow as chair of the council this year. I've met many mayors and chairs and have set up a WhatsApp group to remain in contact with them. We're arranging to meet up when the lockdown is lifted. In Essex, I visited Uttlesford, Dunmow, Colchester, Malden, Chelmsford, Southend, Rochford, Basildon, Thurrock, Brentwood, Epping and Waltham Abbey, and of course many Harlow events. I've also visited Broxbourne, Hertford, Ware, Royston, Hitchin, Sawbridgeworth and Bishop Stortford. The Harlow Carnival was very pleasing, especially seeing the crowds of people lining the streets and cheering the procession. The live after show in the Market Square was enjoyed by hundreds of people in attendance. The golf day saw 12 teams of 4 enthusiastically competing for the various prizes. The civic service was attended by 15 mayors and chairs, the Lord Lieutenant, the High Sheriff, and many acquaintances. The Christmas cracker event at the Playhouse raised £500 and was well supported. The pantomime at the Playhouse was excellent and raised £4,000 for my charities, for which I thank them unreservedly. On Christmas Eve, I presented each of our emergency services with a festive hamper. The quiz night amassed 100 people. A big thanks to Councillor Andrew and Councillor Shona Johnson for their sterling work as quizmaster and scorer. Celebrate Harlow was a delight, proving that we have a plethora of talent in our town. A massive thanks to Sam for being a great compere. The civic dinner was a great success with around 100 guests. I also met 4 ladies who had reached 100 years young and presented each of them with a well-deserved bouquet. I would like to make the following thank yous to the following people. Councillor Mason, who donated monthly to my charity. Rory Davies for his outstanding support. Councillor Maggie Huku for being Vice Chair. A big thanks to Lisa for all her hard work and support. And finally to Stephanie for her constant support as my consul. The monies raised reached £11,800. However, I decided to increase it to £12,000 by donating the extra £200 from my personal account. Therefore, Livewire and Adderbrooks each received £6,000. Right, item 6, the election of the chair of the council. I call on, please can I have nominations for chair of the council? Councillor Toll.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Maggie Holcote.
And Councillor Ingalls. You put your hand up.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button at the wrong time. Apologies.
It's Councillor Wilkinson, isn't it? Who seconded it?
It is, yes.
Right. Do you want to speak? Either of you? Councillor Toll.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, just wanted to say a few words. I think this is the 3rd time that I've been involved in moving or seconding Maggie for chair of council. We're going in, we've had an extremely difficult few months. And the next year is going to be difficult for many people in Harlow. Being chair of a council is quite often the figurehead, what the public see, and some of the best of what we do as a council. And I can think of no one more suited to lead us into this year than Councillor Holcote. Councillor Holcote spends her life dedicated to her residents. I've never met anyone who cares so much about people with such a big and kind heart. I know that she does some fantastic charity work and works with the community, and I know she'll be looking to do that in the year ahead, which is going to be slightly more challenging than the normal situation, but I have no doubt that she's going to come up with some innovative ways for us to raise the profile of Harlow and to support her charities. I really don't think I need to say any more than that. I think we all know what a fantastic job Maggie does, and how fantastic she's going to be as chair of the council, so I'm honoured to nominate her.
Councillor Wilkinson, do you wish to speak? Unmute yourself, Mark.
All right, sorry. Is that better?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yeah, very much like Councillor Toll, it is a massive, massive privilege to be yet again seconding Councillor Maggie Holcote to be chair of the council. And I spoke to Councillor Toll last night about what we're going to say this time round, because I think it's the 3rd time that myself and Emma have had the privilege of proposing Maggie to become chair of the council. So in some ways it'd be nice to hit the repeat button on your Harlow last year and just give the same speech, but I don't think I would get away with that. But it is a massive honour for me to champion Maggie. And just to say something, I thought long and hard about what to say. I remember when I first became leader of Harlow Council, and I had to decide who was the best person that I could nominate, put forward as leader of the council. And believe it or not, I had to physically persuade Maggie to take on this job. She wasn't over keen to start with. Now she can't stop doing it. So I think that's a massive kind of reference to what she put in. She puts in a massive amount of effort in championing this town, and I don't think there's no greater person on the council to champion the cause of Harlow, which I think in the next coming year will be a very, very difficult year. And I'm just really pleased that Maggie Holcote will become chair of the council. Thank you very much.
Are there any nominations for the chair of the council? No. I therefore I'm pleased to say Maggie to take over as chair of the council from me. Well done, Maggie.
Declaration of acceptance. Right, I've done that. I'll put the chair on. Right, okay. Right, I'm on. Okay, thank you so very much. Good evening, everyone. First, I'd like to congratulate Clive on his amazing and successful year. And I know that he dedicated a lot of time and energy to the town and to the various functions he went to outside of the town. He worked extremely hard and he's raised a tremendous amount of money. So I congratulate him. And I know that when we work together, we work very well together. So thanks very, very much, Clive. You were wonderful. This feels very strange, having a virtual annual council away from the Civic Centre. It's an historical event and that none of us would have chosen. We have learned over the few months to live in a different way in our country and our world. I know that the spirit of our nation has brought us together. We are kinder, more tolerant, community spirited, and much better for it. This spirit must and can take us forward. I want to thank our officers for their tremendous job done by all of our residents, for our residents. As councillors, we can carry on this spirit together with our residents and our community. It is, after all, through us and our example that will play a major role going forward in a new and better way. My role as chair this year will be affected by circumstances I cannot control. I have two charities this year. Firstly, Petals, doing a tremendous job coming alongside those women who have gone through the trauma of miscarriage and infant death. My second charity is Mind, which is being widely emphasised this week. I do pledge to do my utmost to work on behalf of these very essential charities. It was also brought to my attention this week by a resident in my ward that local dance school Making Steps have recorded a song that is raising money for our local hospital, Princess Alexandra. The song is called My Rainbow Hero. I would urge you all to listen on your tube to this. I will finish by saying how pleased I am to be seeing you all, even in virtual. I know that many of the public will also be viewing this event. My thoughts are with all of you. Please keep safe. Thank you. Okay, on to item 7, the appointment of the Vice Chair of the Council and the declaration of acceptance of office. Okay, please can I have the nomination to Vice Chair of the Council? Right,
It's Chris Vince.
Oh yeah, right. He's not signalling.
I'm here.
Can
you hear me?
Councillor Vince, are you you're going to nominate, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to nominate Councillor Bob Davis.
Right. And do we have a seconder? Yeah.
Yes, Councillor Holcote, I would like to second the appointment of Vice Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Vince, would you like to speak on behalf of the nominee?
Yeah, very quickly, I'll talk on behalf of Bob. Obviously, I've worked with Bob as a fellow director of HTS for 2 years now. I've also seen him as an effective chair of scrutiny during that time. He's been an excellent chair. He gave everyone the opportunity to speak and ensured everyone got a chance to speak, and made sure that both political sides got that opportunity. And I know that's going to cause some controversy this evening. He's someone who, unlike me, doesn't like to shout from the rooftops about what he does for his community, but he does work incredibly hard, both as a councillor currently for Mark Hall. We were discussing earlier how long he's been a councillor. He was also a councillor for Toddbrook for 10 years as well, but also in his work as a HCS director, supporting the apprentices and the great work that HCS do in terms of apprenticeships, and also supporting our workforce to be safe during this really difficult time. Thank you.
Okay, I understand that Councillor Andrew Johnson wants to speak at this stage.
Chair, very happy to, but I haven't, don't believe it's yet been formally seconded, has it?
Yeah, it has.
Okay. All right, in which case, can I welcome you to the chair once again, Councillor Holcoop. Great to see you back, and obviously pay tribute along with you to our coronavirus heroes. It's a real shame this year that the ruling administration have decided to make this a party political appointment. It was very upsetting the other night to receive a phone call from the leader of the council telling me that the Labour group had decided to make the nominations purely from their own political party this year. And I think politicising the chair and the vice chairmanship is a real shame, and something that we've avoided doing in Harlow. Despite what other people do in other councils, we've avoided it for a number of years. But the administration have made it very clear to us that they want to make these things political, and they've set the tone for the year going forward. I wish to register that I wish to abstain on this vote, whilst I hold no personal grudge to Councillor Davis and have been colleagues with him for many years on the council, and recognise he will make a very good vice chair. Sorry, apologies for the language slip there. I do feel that this is a retrograde step for the council, and I do think it is a really bad decision by the administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Johnson. Councillor Mark Ingle, I believe you wish to speak now.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm a little bit surprised at Councillor Johnson's evident anger at this decision. There are two councils that serve Harlow. There's Harlow District Council and Essex County Council. Councillor Johnson's own father was a vice chair of Essex County Council. He's a Conservative. At the time, the chair of the Essex County Council was also Conservative. When Councillor Eddie Johnson became the chair of Essex County Council, I understand that the vice chair of Essex County Council was also a Conservative. It wasn't political then, it's not political now, it's a democratic decision, and that's what we're going forward with. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further speakers? No. Okay. So do we have any further nominations of vice chair of council? I take that as a no, because I'm not hearing from anybody. Okay. Okay, I understand that Councillor Eugene Harvey wants to speak.
I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that Councillor Danvers was trying to speak and Councillor Edwards.
Okay, right. Okay, we'll go with Councillor Danvers first and then Councillor Edwards. It's not coming up, is it? Okay. Councillor Danvers? Where are you? Is he not coming up?
Hello.
Councillor Danvers, yeah.
Finally got there. Sorry, my dog's kicking off as well. We need to remind ourselves in 2012 what the position was. And we actually had the Tory administration with a Tory chair and a nomination of a Tory vice chair, the late Councillor Jollies. And so it really is the height of hypocrisy to actually say anything of the nature that Councillor Johnson has said. And I see, because I've got him actually on my screen, Councillor Charles shaking his head. So perhaps he could actually tell me what the difference is between 2012 of two Tories being nominated for the civic positions and a similar situation now. Thank you.
Okay, I understand also that Councillor Tony Edward wants to speak as well. Or not?
Right. Now, I don't want, I'm just, again, drawing attention to Councillor Danvers, so I've got nothing to say.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you. Right. Does anyone else want to speak on this? And there are no more nominations. Okay, so Councillor Davis is duly appointed Vice Chair of the Council. Congratulations.
We didn't take a vote, Chair.
Oh, we've taken a vote, are we?
Is anyone voting against it?
Right, is anyone voting against this?
So, Councillor Holcoop, there are a couple of raised hands. You've got one from Councillor Andrew Johnson and one from Councillor.
Right, they're not coming up on the screen, unfortunately. Councillor David Carter, I can see your hand up because you're on my screen at the moment. Right, okay. Right. So we got Councillor Carter. He's not currently responding. So we got Councillor Carter. We've got, who did you say, Francis? No, he's not responding.
Councillor Carter can speak now, so if he wants to.
Okay, Councillor Carter.
Yes, I would just like to vote against this appointment, not from the point of view of Bob himself, because I've worked with Bob now for a number of years and I've always worked well with Bob and I actually think he's a very good councillor. I'm just very disappointed that this has now become a political thing. Harlow is not Essex. This is Harlow. This is not how it's done. But obviously now it's been a political thing and that's how it is. You have the vote. You can do what you like. Thank you.
Thank you, Carter. And Councillor Francis Mason.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say a few words in terms of seconding the proposal of Councillor Bob Davis. I think he would make an excellent Vice Chair. He's one of the very hard-working and conscientious councillors who's a range of experience in the local community, both in the voluntary sector, in the private sector, and as well as a ward councillor for Mark Hall. I did try and search today for how long he'd been a councillor. I know there had been a break, so thank you, Chris Vince, for advising me it was Toddbrook. I couldn't find it on the search, even on the Harlow Council search. I just think his skills and knowledge of Harlow Council and the local community put him in a really good position to take on this civic role to engage with the people of Harlow. And I just wanted the opportunity to formally say that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Mason. Right, we're going to have to go to a vote. So it'll be a roll call. And Simon, you'll do that, yeah?
So I will call members in the order that in alphabetical order. So if you are, you can either vote for, against, or abstain for the position of Vice Chair. Councillor David Carter.
Against.
Councillor Simon Carter.
Abstain.
Councillor Joel Charles. Councillor Joel Charles.
Abstain.
Councillor Nick Churchill. Councillor Nick Churchill.
Touch the mute button.
Yeah, I was trying, Chair, sorry. Yeah, abstain.
Chair, I would advise you that it's 1 minute to 8. I don't know whether you want
It's
to
8 o'clock, Chair.
Pauses for the clap.
Yes, I think at this stage we can halt it and we will then do the 2-minute silence when it gets to 8 o'clock for handshaking, where we're the marvellous NHS and the keyboard.
Isaac, we're going to clap. Come on.
Going outside to clap.
Gonna mute you
Can
guys.
we go outside? We're staying where we are. Stay where you are.
Who's
Can
that?
we go outside though?
We go outside.
Right, you're clapping.
Ah, dear.
Not the same as outside.
Sorry.
No.
I went on my balcony. I swear there's more people every week.
Yeah.
We always do it together outside.
Is everyone where they should be? Okay. Right, we'll carry on with the Simon.
All members to be back.
They're not back, they've moved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shush.
So, Chair, I believe we have got as far as Councillor Jean Clark,
4.
Councillor Mike Danvers,
Or
Councillor Bob Davis,
4.
Councillor Jodie Dunn, Councillor Jodie Dunn.
He's saying, he's mouthing 4.
4. Councillor Tony Durkin,
4.
Councillor Tony Edwards,
4.
Councillor Mike Garnett,
abstain.
Councillor Michael Hardware,
Abstain.
Councillor Eugene Harvey,
4.
Councillor Maggie Holcoop,
Abstain.
Councillor Mark Ingle,
4.
Councillor Shannon Jezard,
4.
Councillor Andrew Johnson,
With no malice to Bob, abstain.
Councillor Eddie Johnson,
Abstain.
Councillor Shona Johnson,
Abstain.
Councillor Sue Livings,
Abstain.
Councillor Francis Mason,
4.
Councillor Stephen Mullard,
4.
Councillor Russell Perrin,
Abstain.
Councillor Danny Purton,
4.
Councillor Laney Shears,
4.
Councillor Clive Souter,
Abstain.
Councillor John Strachan,
4.
Councillor Emma Toll,
4.
Councillor Chris Vince.
4.
Councillor Phil Waite.
4.
Councillor Nancy Watson.
4.
Councillor Mark Wilkinson.
4.
Chairman, the vote is 19 for, 1 against, 12 abstentions. That's passed.
Thank you. Is now going to be Vice Chair of the Council. Congratulations, Bob. And we'll be seeing you shortly. Okay. Right, we're now on to item 8. Appointment to Cabinet. I'd like to invite Mark Ingold to announce who his Cabinet will be, along with other appropriate changes.
Thank you, Chair. The last council year, 2019-20, ended in a way none of us could have foreseen, and in tragedy for tens of thousands of families across the UK, and too many here in Harlow. A new council year is a sombre time in ordinary circumstances, when we accept the responsibility of elected office and seek to do the best we can for Harlow's residents, looking forward, addressing challenges and seeking new opportunities. This hateful virus makes the responsibility even heavier, and it demands to be addressed and dealt with. And so, Chair, some changes do need to be made. If I can paraphrase Rabbi Lord Sachs, who spoke on his Thought for the Day last week, when the worst of the pandemic is over, what sort of Harlow will we seek? Will we look to return things back to the way they were, or will we try to create a more just and caring society? The philosopher Hegel said that one thing we learn from history is too often we learn nothing from history. Yet the great biblical prophets, Isaiah and Jeremiah, said, we must learn from history if we are to avoid repeating the mistakes of history. We have to use the pain we as a community have been through to sensitise ourselves to the pain of others, the poor, the weak, the vulnerable, the widow, the orphan and the stranger. Collective suffering can move us from I to we. This, councillors, is our solemn task. And it is against this backdrop that I have made some changes to my Cabinet. My deputy leader will again be the excellent Councillor Eugenie Harvey. She will be taking over a new portfolio, a portfolio I'm calling Resilience and Recovery. And it will be her job to lead on pandemic recovery, preparing a post-pandemic action plan and mitigating as best we can the effect of the pandemic on the community of Harlow and its residents. Her previous portfolio, the portfolio of community and wellbeing, will now be taken over by Councillor Chris Vince, who I know will do an excellent job there. I'm creating a new portfolio called Growth and Prosperity, taking majorly from the old portfolio of economic development. And the lead on that will be Councillor Tony Durkin. The portfolio for environment will see a few minor changes. It will still be led by Councillor Danny Purton, and he'll take forward his excellent work with the Garden Town and the Town Plan. The portfolio for governance, equality and diversity will have a fresh face, Councillor Francis Mason. Continuing with the portfolio of housing will be Councillor Mark Wilkinson. Continuing with the portfolio for resources will be Councillor Mike Danvers. I'd like to thank Councillor John Strachan and Councillor Laney Shears for their work last year. I think this is a very, very strong team, amply equipped to do its very best by trying to steer Harlow to a brighter and better future and mitigate the worst effects of this pandemic. Thank you.
To take the items 9 to 11 on block, plus the supplementaries that were sent out by separate email. We need to have a hands raised feature in Zoom, so we've got to vote on this to take it as block. So can councillors vote at this stage? Right. Right. Oh, good. So they're voting. Everybody voted? Well, I'm voting. Oh, no, I'm not.
Is it up to you to ask if anyone's voting against it? They're being taken on block.
Right, so it's going to be taken on block.
No, we need to ask them.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so it's going to be taken on block, yes? Right.
Councillor Toll.
Councillor Toll. You wanted to speak?
Yeah, sorry, Chair. Are we going to elect the leader? We just kind of skipped through that bit.
No, no, we're not doing that. We don't need to do that. We're just going to the...
Really? Okay.
Right. Councillor Toll?
Chair, I can advise the council that under the constitution, the leader is elected for a 4-year term until his end of his term of office. And as Councillor Ingall's term has been extended by the Coronavirus Act 2020, he is still the leader until 2021.
So does that answer that question, Councillor Toll?
Sure.
Right, okay. So have we done the vote on the 9 to 11 on block with the supplementary? So I can take it as we have done that, right? Okay. Now we need to receive the...
Councillor Holcoop, Councillor Johnson's just raised his hand.
Okay, he's raising it now. Okay, right, Councillor Johnson.
Chair, as I indicated to you previously before the meeting, although I'm happy to take these items on block, I do have an issue to raise with one of the particular committee allocations.
Right.
And if I can point the administration and the council towards the Civic Awards panel, and further to the conversation that we had at the start of this meeting, Chair, the council appears, the administration particularly appears to now be politicising the Civic Awards within this town. When the panel was set up, it was 2 and 2, 2 from each side of the chamber, as indeed the Fairness and Diversity Partnership was 2 and 2. The Fairness and Diversity Partnership has remained 2 and 2. Now, obviously, Chair, we wouldn't expect to have an equality of vote on things like the Chief Executive's Appraisal Panel or any of the committees that make political decisions. But I find it frustrating in the least that the administration has decided to politicise the awarding of civic awards in this town. And I take it that all civic awards awarded in the coming year will be of a political nature. Therefore, I would not approve that committee.
Okay.
You need to have the appointments moved and seconded before we have the...
Right, I need to have the appointments moved and proposer and seconder on both groups. Yeah, Councillor.
I move it, Chair.
And seconder? Who? Ah, okay, Councillor Harvey's done that, Councillor Waite. Okay, now the Conservatives. Proposer? Any proposer for the Conservative group? No one's coming up. Oh, Councillor Andrew Johnston.
Yeah, I think there's some confusion here on your part. One item has been moved. It's not moved separately. The item has been moved on block. That is why the Conservative group were asked to submit nominations before the meeting so they could be considered together.
Yeah. Okay. Right, but we still need a proposer and a seconder. Oh, okay, right. Sorry, my fault. Okay, so we're now going. So you've spoken, Councillor Johnson, on what you wanted to say. Okay. Now we need to go to any objections. Oh, right. Are there any speakers on this item now? It's going all over the place. Who? Councillor Penning. Okay. Councillor Penning, you wanted to speak on this?
Just to say, I agree fully with what Councillor Johnson has just said.
Right. Is there anyone else that wants to speak on this? No one put their mic on?
Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Ingle.
Thank you, Chair. Just to point out that actually there's been no change to the Committee for Civic Awards. The Constitution stated the Chair, the Vice Chair, one from Labour, one from Tory, and that's what we're sticking with. Thank you.
Okay. So, thank you. Anyone else want to speak on this? Right, okay. So we'll go to the vote. Yeah, so we'll have to go to the vote. Anyone speaking against it? Not so far. Okay, so this now then is agreed. Okay, we now go on to item 12A. Okay, I'd like to take item 12A and B together. If anyone objects, can they please use the Zoom to raise your hands on this section? No one objecting? No, okay. Can I have a proposer and a seconder? Councillor Mallard, would you be a proposer on this? Yeah. Okay, yes, right. And Councillor, who was the other? Right, okay, we need a seconder then.
Councillor Eugenie Harvey.
Right, Councillor Eugenie Harvey, can you be a seconder, please? Who? Right, Councillor Mallard, do you want to speak, yeah? No, you don't. Right, okay. It looked as though your light was coming up. Okay then. Right. Okay. So are we happy to accept this? Yeah, nods. Yeah, excellent. Okay. Now we've got item 13, calendar of meetings 2020 and 2021. Are there any proposer and a seconder? Right, Wilkins, Councillor Wilkinson. Right, so Councillor Mark Wilkinson, and would you be proposing this one?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, right, that's fine, thank you. And,
I'll second it, Chair.
okay, Councillor Mark Ingle would second it, and Councillor Harvey wants to speak on this one. No, she doesn't. Oh, it's Councillor Simon Carter. Okay, thank you. Right, it's not coming up fast enough. Okay, so Councillor Simon Carter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a technical query on the sequencing of Cabinet and Council in July. We seem to have Council on the 9th of July and Cabinet on the 16th. It's usual that there are referrals from Cabinet to Council. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work this way around. Perhaps somebody can explain.
Okay, who wants to take that one up? Yep, yeah, Simon will take that one up.
Chairman, that's how it appeared in the last year. The council in July is the set piece debate.
No. Yeah. Yeah, he wants. Okay, so Councillor Mallard, you want to speak now?
Just
Yeah.
a quick point of order. I'm going to get this out of the way now. Councillor Carter keeps on referring to the chair as Madam Chair. Our standing order is very clear that she's called Chair. Can we keep it that way and can we do it from the start, please? It's boring, it's old. Can you just learn the terminology and get over it? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mallard. Right, anyone else want to speak on this? Councillor Bob Davis. Right, he's not on. He's not clicking. Okay. Right. No, right. Councillor Bob Davis, have you unmuted yourself?
Yes, I have. I just wanted to add what Councillor Mallard said, is that we don't want Madam Chair again for another year, so we need to forget about that. And Councillor Carter should forget about it as well.
Thank you very much. Point taken. Okay. So, right, Councillor Eddie Johnson, you wanted to speak?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I was under the understanding that the reason that the full council followed Cabinet last year was because the administration cancelled it and changed the date. That doesn't mean it should always follow suit, because that's what happened last year. Surely Cabinet precedes full council. So we've got a chain of communication. Thank you, Chair.
Right, Simon, can you sort that one through? We're looking at the chart at the moment.
I think the difficulty is, Chair, if you don't agree this calendar as it is now, there's not another opportunity to change it by council. If if members were willing to approve it, subject to officers looking at it again.
Yeah. Okay, so we've had the advice from Simon. Is that okay with councillors that we agree it now and that we get the advice and go through, because we've got to start the year off with the calendar in the role? Is that, do councillors agree with that? Is that unanimous? Yeah.
Indication from Councillor Eugenie Harvey.
Okay, Councillor Eugenie Harvey, you wanted to say something on that?
I just wondered if can we not just swap the two meetings around?
Well, we can do that, but we've got to get the calendar meetings approved right now, as it's annual council.
Well, can we approve it and say, subject to looking at it, we would swap those dates around?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, because as I say, we've got to sort this one through, but we need to get it accepted at this stage, if that's okay with
Councillor Simon Carter's trying to get your attention.
Right, okay. Councillor Carter.
Thank you. I'm not sure what one has to do to attract attention for these meetings. I had my hand up, a digital hand up, minutes ago. I've been waving furiously all the way this is not getting off to a good meeting. all I want to say is, all we have to do is to amend what we have in front of us and just change one date for the other. I'm not sure what the problem is.
Right, I do apologise, but the green lights that should be coming up when you indicate that you want to speak are not necessarily coming up when they should be. Because I'm on the participants the whole time at this stage, and it's the reds that is not the green. So I do apologise for that. Okay, Councillor Andrew Johnson, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, Chair. This does appear to be becoming quite dragged out. Can I just formally propose that we swap the two meeting dates between Cabinet and Council in the July calendar and then approve it?
Yeah, I'd go for that. I'd go for that. Does everyone else accept it, that route? That we swap it? Is everyone happy? Yes. Yes?
You've got indication from
Councillor
Danvers.
Right, Councillor Danvers. Did you want to say something?
Yes, I agree absolutely. It's obviously a mistake by whoever. It's not a
Right.
deliberate mistake, it's just a mistake and it just
Right.
needs to be rectified.
Okay, that's fine. So we accept Councillor Ingle. Councillor Ingle, you're going to say something?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to unmute me, Chair. Yeah, I think a perfectly sensible thing to do to swap those two meetings over. I would remind councillors that actually there are over 30 people, getting on for 40 people on this Zoom call. It's very difficult to manage, and I think we need to remind ourselves of manners and show a little bit of patience on what's new technology for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Point taken. Right, Mike Garnett, councillor. Councillor.
Mute. There you are. I think I've unmuted now. Yes. No, I just
Yeah,
wanted to say,
you're live.
Councillor Johnson's made a suggestion. Why don't we just vote on it? You know, we're here all night. Otherwise, going backwards and forwards.
Well, but we were going to switch it around and then move on. That's what the suggestion is, that we switch those two around, and everyone appeared to be happy with that. So that's where we were going to leave it.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Right, yeah, that's it. We're on to number 14, matters of urgent business. I've had none. Now, I would invite you into the chair's room, but as we can't do that, thank you very, very much. I know we've had a few glitches tonight, but you know, this is the annual council and we move on, and we see what the rest of the year brings to us. And as chair of the council, I will also be seeing what I can be doing for my charities and for the town and wherever I go when I can get out there. So thank you very, very much. And you can all turn off now.